Hi everyone. Actually not feeling very well. Quiet, like a bit sick. It has been like 7 times I'm in the live stage, but here I am as the live, like as a person of showgirl. I need to show up because this is the problem of the funding. It's exactly like that. So today, my name is Dina Chaerani, your 6 o'clock news host as SRHR Barbie, and I'm gonna try to bring the stand-up comedy today to talk about these important issues, and it's very, very important. So if it's not fun, just clap and then just laugh because it's gonna give me fuel, okay? It's gonna be my first time. A lot of content creations. I've done a lot of interviews. It's more than like 100 times probably now in ICFP. But this is my first time to do the stand-up comedy, so I'm quite nervous. But you know, I'm gonna pretend because I am the Sex Plus News host and I'm the SRHR Barbie. What I cannot do, you know, like I'll do everything. So if you attend yesterday's session, the first session, it was about the fertility crisis, the UNFPA report on state of the world populations. And it's actually quite interesting because actually it's not the problem of how many babies, too few or also too many. It's about the young people or also people itself do not have the choice, do not have the informed choice to choose whatever they want with their own family planning. And tonight, we're gonna talk about a little bit less sexy. It's a little bit more traumatic than the fertility crisis, which is about money. Who in here doesn't love money? Does everybody love money?
Yes.
You don't love money? Because I love money. Who doesn't? Anyway, actually ever notice that youth organizations need to preach like tech startup, you know, like but also at the end of the day they have to live in a broken apartment or like broken art students. For example, it feels like we are submitting proposal with 15 KPIs while our team is actually sharing 1-bedroom apartment with 1 Wi-Fi password in Bogotá while attending ICFP and have to attend all of the sessions and also present like an amazing important person. Do you feel that? Because I feel that. That's what it's happening to me now. And then, you know, when they say that youth are the futures. Oh my God, you are amazing. You are the futures. You are the presents and so on and so forth. That cute, babe. Super cute. But when the budget drops, and then suddenly the future has to find its own co-funding. Suddenly there is no future for young people because, sorry, unfortunately, budget cut. There is nothing. That's what expanding. And one time also actually there is donor said to me, it's very interesting. Dina, we really admire your work. You are doing amazing. You are a queen. You are the star of the social media. But unfortunately, we cannot give you funding. But we'd love to feature you in our own newsletter. Hello, babe. Excuse me, sir. Unless the funding itself and then the newsletter comes with a deposit, don't play with me because newsletter not paying my bills. Newsletter cannot make me like full or like also make me happy or can fly me to Bogotá, you know? So we are not only running just organization to be your Pinterest board, what is it? Inspirational Pinterest board. So please, if you are funder in here today, think about that. Just because we are young doesn't mean we don't spend money, okay? It's very important. Probably we spend more money than you because come on, nowadays people have to also put something on Instagram and then like keeping up with everything on TikTok, this and that. So it's very expensive lifestyle. So do not only pay us with exposure, unfortunately. And then also applying for funding itself, do you know it feels like Hunger Games? So with more acronyms, SRHR, CSE, AYSRHR, this and that, like it's too long. And you know, they also like saying to us, we need this grant to pay up and protect youth rights. The donor said, we love your patient, babe. Now please upload your entire trauma history into a log frame, read it on Likert scale, and explain your theory of change, less than 250 characters. Who do that? Literally, I'm trauma dumping now with the font size of 10 and space of like 0.5 single line space. And they ghosted me. I have more exposure from my ex-boyfriend that hated my relationship. Bad, like literally, donor ghosted me a lot of times. And also, once I was actually got flown to speak at the Global Summit, and I was thinking, Dina, you made it, babes. You made it. You flew to the other side of the country. And I thought, amazing. I can put everything. And then they gave me only what? Lanyard. And also very, very cold sandwich with a very annoying mayonnaise. And I come back home, flew with nothing, but also only like a tote bag and low iron. Because there's nothing. I don't get paid. I only get flu. And then they said, here you are. You are like checklist for TI, and then you are in the social media. Come on, my social media more than 10K followers. I can gain that rather than in your own organizations. So that's all the story. It's actually like as a youth organization, as a young person myself, it's so hard, you know, to keep up with this relationship with donors, to keep up with the relationship with people of money. But not today. You know why? Because today we are gonna flipping up the script. We are not your youth representative. We are not just your cute cutie pie that's gonna be putting on the social media. We are your own co-investor in this movement. If anyone in this room still thinking that youth cannot run movement on exposure, Instagram like, thought back, I have one thing to say. I'm not your sidekicks. I am not your token. And also, I am not your inspiring young girl. I'm literally a professional, an expert. I've been in this stage more than 10 times by now, literally, like since morning until evening. And I'm still standing here. Because why? Because we are capable to do that. And, you know, now let's talk about the real ones. I would like to invite more amazing people today where they are actually putting the money where their mouth is. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the day 2 of 6 o'clock news. I'm Dina Chaerani, your SRHR Barbie. I'm gonna call amazing speaker, the first speaker from DKT, Chris Purdy. Oh my God, Chris.
Bravo.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam.
See, this is amazing because Chris can speak bahasa Indonesia.
15 tahun di Indonesia.
Oh my God. Okay, should we just speak in bahasa?
Boleh juga.
No, it's not going to be inclusive. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You know, actually, this session is supposed to be with another speaker, but here I am. As a showgirl, I have to keep up and actually bringing more people. And I'm so glad that you would like to come today.
My honor.
Oh my God, please give a round of applause for Chris. It's amazing that he's here. So Chris, maybe introduce yourself and introduce what is DKT. I know DKT is famous already in ICFP, but why not, you know?
Well, let me just say, I can't compare it to Dr. Samu, so, you know, the expectations shouldn't be that high, but my name is Chris Purdy. I'm the CEO of DKT International. We're a global sexual and reproductive healthcare organization that focuses on bringing contraceptives and safe abortion all over the world.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming one more time. This is 6 o'clock news. We're gonna talk about like spicy, controversial topic, and today's topic is about show us the money. Invest in us. Do you actually love us as a young person or not? Because sometimes I feel like they don't love us.
I think they do.
Oh, okay. So then I'm gonna ask you the first questions actually now. So, you know, DKT is a significant private sector player, right? And then in this global SRHR field, in this family planning field as well. How do you see actually your role evolving in this changing political and funding climate? Because it's very, you know?
Yeah. So it's not exactly a sexy question, but I'll try and keep it interesting.
Okay.
So, of course, we know there are these major challenges. And I think one of the things we're going to see as these increasing funding challenges happen, that we're going to need to see the private sector come into this space more and more actively, and they're going to need to invest. And I actually think it speaks really well to the sexy idea, because the private sector can be a lot more sexy than, sorry to say this, but they're usually more sexy than donors, and they're usually more sexy than the public sector. So
wow.
I think the private sector in the years to come will have to leverage its own revenues more. That doesn't mean that there's not a role to play for the public sector or donors. That's just the reality of what's coming. So let's figure out how we leverage that going forward.
Okay, let me pick up on the statement sexier than the philanthropists or donors, because I want to know more. What is actually one of the examples that DKT actually do that you can say to this public, the sex o'clockers, hello, we are sexier, because like we're actually doing this and we mean it, because we want to involve and then also invest in young person.
I think, let's not forget that everyone's been talking about family planning here, but actually it's about sex, right?
Yeah.
And so when we talk about sex, let's not forget that sex is something pleasurable, something fun, something that is very human. And how do we leverage that as a way to live healthier lives, live more fulfilling lives, live the lives that we want to live? But don't forget the fundamental reasons behind why we're using family planning or contraception in the first place. So I think DKT embraces that. And I'm also very glad to see that at this conference, there have been many, many more other actors and organizations that have started to embrace that language. I think that's a very positive sign.
I like it because actually me, myself, I'm a CSE content creator and CSE activist because I love talking about sex, pleasure in the language of Islamic perspective, because I feel like it's always left behind, especially in Indonesia. In Indonesia, most of us are like Muslim, and then the moment you say sex, like that, it's like no, haram, you're gonna go to hell, that kind of thing. So I think that's interesting. And then I want to know another follow-up questions on that, because you said yes, you invest in young people as well, but I want to know from your own perspective again, what do you see as a potential role of young people itself? We know young people has a lot of amazing skills, right? And then as a key actors and champions to advance SRHR, not only, let's bring young people to, let's say, ICFP Bogotá. Let's put them in the picture, put it on the social media and so on and so forth. The AE checklist, like I'm so annoyed with that if there are people that doing it. And how can also private sector support their meaningful engagement, meaningful and equitable engagement, and also empowerment?
Right, so I totally agree. It should not be performance art, right? When we bring young people onto into this work. And so it speaks directly to the point that I was making about the future of family planning. And first of all, let's not forget that young people today, I hate to tell you this, but you're going to get older, and the young people are going to be the leaders of the future. So you have to be ready for that, and we have to invest in education and training, capacity building, opportunities to do amazing things. But more to the point, the messaging, right? So no one's going to follow me on Instagram. I'm just not that interesting, but they are going to follow you. And so we need to leverage the way that young people can speak to other young people, whether that's influencer marketing or whether that's event marketing or using art, right? We saw some of that yesterday, using art. And that is something, so for a DKT, if you walk into a marketing department in any DKT office, it's mostly going to be young people driving that content, driving the way that it works. The salespeople who go every day and visit pharmacies and clinics at DKT, they're young people, they're not old. So there has to be a blend, and we have to bring those young people into these organizations and empower them to take risks so that they feel comfortable to take risks, right? Because I think one of the things that happens is young people say, well, I don't want to take a risk because I don't want to fail. We have to give young people the space, the chance to fail fast, figure it out, and then move on.
Amazing. I really love that. Like when you said more young people, because they actually speaks with other young people, they speak the language of young people. Probably, I don't know, because like I myself, I feel like I'm millennial. Sometimes it's so hard for me to understand Gen Z language as well. So I don't know also about you, whether like you're also struggling finding out like the language of the young people.
My son is Gen Z, so yes, I'm working on that.
But last but not least, Chris, this is the question very interesting because we're talking about money, right? If for example, let's say I'm gonna bring the proposals to you. Hello, Chris, like I have ideas and I'm gonna do something with the CSE in Indonesia. Will you actually fund me? And then like, how much is it gonna be?
I can't say yes automatically, but categorically, yes, we do that. That's what we do.
Yes.
We actively solicit those kinds of proposals. We want to find people who are involved in this space, people who have influence, and absolutely we do that. So, and we get those proposals all the time in Indonesia and everywhere else. So you can, probably for Fiesta, not for Sutra. That's the brand of the condom in Indonesia.
Yeah, maybe I can be the model there actually. Probably DKT can sponsor me.
Okay.
No, but Chris, literally, I believe with what you say. I agree with what you say as well. So I hope probably you said when we have to create content more, but like youth friendly, invest more in young people. I'm actually gonna hold you accountable after this.
Wonderful.
Be like, maybe we can create content together.
Okay.
And don't run away when I'm coming to you with my ping mic.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Chris, for the discussion today. Please give a round of applause for Chris from DKT. Terima kasih banyak, Chris.
Terima kasih. Selamat malam.
Selamat malam, sampai jumpa. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, don't run away, because I have, oh my God, the second one is amazing. Because the second speaker is actually, how would I say it? I can call it bestie. I hope she's not gonna be mad when I'm calling her bestie. So this person is actually has been attending ICFP, coming to the youth summit as well. It's very important because she show up where the young people are at. And then I feel like this is important to showcase that I am walking the talk. I'm talking the talk, I'm walking the walk. So it's very important also to bring her now today. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to call my bestie, Nabi Hatazi from PI. Come here, bestie. Oh my God, I'm calling you bestie as if like. Yes, please. Oh my God. For coming. Ooh. I know you're busy, super busy. You must run from one session to another.
Yeah, it was busy, but that's what this is about, just as many people as we can hang out with.
Exactly, but you keep showing up to here because you know Sect the Clock is for young people, and then we are discussing about something very serious, but we make it fun. That's like the point of Sect the Clock itself. So today, you know, the theme is like politics of funding, but apart from that, you know, amidst this crisis, the shrinking civic space, the raising of anti-right movements, and I know you are very pro on that, so I'm gonna ask that kind of questions to you. It's gonna be only 2 questions, but I know you are gonna explain it very well.
Sure.
But before that, please introduce yourself. I know you are famous already. You don't need to be introduced, but say something about PAI probably.
I would love to, and I love you.
Oh.
Absolutely love you with all of my heart.
Oh my God.
And,
I'm gonna cry now.
and I usually wear pink for you, but today I wore green for the Green Wave movement. Also, I don't know what color the green, oh no, do you all know what the green M&M stands for?
Green M&M?
Yeah. The green M&M when I was growing up meant sexy.
Ah, but so this is green M&M.
This is green M&M for sexy, the Green Wave movement.
Okay.
So, you know, there's always thought around. You got to be fashionable with you.
Oh.
So PAI, we're a US-based, global, engaged civil society organization focused on advancing and advocating for sexual and reproductive health and rights, working with a lot of youth movements because we believe that young people and communities are best equipped to hold decision makers accountable to deliver the healthcare that people deserve, including sexual and reproductive healthcare.
I love it. I love PAI. Since the first time I know PAI, I was like, this is it, you know, because like you really engage young people as well, not only for photo ops.
Definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it is, I'm gonna be like texting you, hello Nabiha, please check again, equity check. But anyway, Nabiha, again, I'm gonna go back to the talk about anti-right movements and everything. So probably I'm gonna ask first, with this situation, current situation, how can we actually create a regional bloc to keep pushing along the sustainable and community-rooted funding collaborations? Because, you know, it's so hard for so many organizations, especially youth organizations. You know that you are also intermediaries, right? So you know how hard it is for us. It's like a Hunger Games. We are chasing everybody. If we can kill, we will kill, you know. But tell us how actually we can create this sort of like regional block so that we can work together, not in silo.
I love that question, and I think that is very, very critical for youth-led organizations and youth-focused organizations to be working together in coalition. And your question is also very important because I would say maybe you don't need a regional bloc, and that's not the starting point. Maybe the question is, what is the common set of objectives that youth want to see changed in their region? What is the outcome that you envision in your region? Set those goals, set that vision, and then mobilize around that. Because there are a lot of regional blocks, and quite frankly, with the shrinking funding space and the shrinking civic space, where I see the opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to mobilize around these 5 goals for our region, and we need a range of donors to support that outcome. Trust young people to not only set the agenda, but do the work on their terms and trust that they're going to deliver on the results that we know as PAI they are fully capable of. Because at PAI, we don't actually set the agenda for youth-led organizations and youth-led coalition partners. We say, what do you need from us? But we trust you to set the agenda. And you just go and we have your back.
So you're not those micromanaging?
Not at all.
Oh my God, I love it.
Not at all.
I love it.
Because actually the greatest success stories in advancing access to sexual and reproductive health and rights, not just for young people, but communities writ large, you let communities and young people lean into their superpowers and you give them space to soar.
Oh my God. I love that. Please give applause to Nabiha and PAI. It's literally amazing. Like, I love it. Because one thing that I think Gen Z or like millennials hate is being micromanaged, because like, please trust in us, you know, like why you are doing this. We don't want to be taught like, or like lecture anymore.
Yeah, and I also think there's this element of being able to articulate what is it that you are fighting for? What is it that you want to change? What do you see as the achievements? Because if not, I hate to say it, it just becomes a lot of noise and a lot of sound bites. You also need to be able to communicate what is the win, why you're united to fight for that win.
Exactly. Okay, now moving on, Nabiha, it's the last questions, but I think it's gonna be super powerful. Like, you know, if politics keeps creeping into reproductive health and rights funding, which is it is probably now, how do we keep actually the lights on for the real work? You know, like for those youth movements, the midwives, probably the SRHR advocates, but without making or getting them trapped into culture war budget? Because what's the smart way to protect funding for choice when choice itself is political?
Amazing, and choice itself is political. And I think there's space to lean in to pushing back on the political antagonism of rights and justice and equality. There's also space, an important space, to step back and say, I'm going to fight the political fight. That could be yes or no. If you choose to, keep doing that. But I do think there needs to be a segment that says, okay, I may not fight the political fight, but I'm going to see what is politically salient right now, the way in. So you and I are both Muslim sisters, and we know that in our faith there is a recognition of the importance of the health and vitality of moms and women. And so the way in to talk about access to safe abortion, the way in to talk about family planning, the way in to talk about gender-based violence.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean that we sell out. We're just being very creative to say, what are the other rooms and how do we get in there, and let's go that way.
Amazing. I do agree with that, because actually with Sexdugram, where I work in Indonesia we cannot talk about CSE, just CSE. That's why I'm trying to figure out, okay, what is the other way? I'm mixing that with the stunting prevention in Indonesia, and I'm also relating and incorporating the religious leaders, and it's actually working.
Exactly.
So it's
That's
like
exactly
one stone, two birds, literally.
I will also say that I think we need to not assume that all young leaders and youth are on our side. There is a vibrant anti-rights youth-led movement as well. So we have to keep our eyes open and not assume everyone is there for the same purpose.
Oh my God, Navia, it's really enriching and enlightening. I love it so much. Thank you very much for coming to the 6 o'clock news. This is the last edition, guys. So please stay tuned on the ICFP next time. Probably I'm going to host 6 o'clock again. And today we're already learning about money isn't neutral, it's not neutral, it's political. And who gets actually the funded decide who gets hurt. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to the 6 o'clock since day one until now. I hope you're enjoying the ICFP. I hope you enjoy these conversations about fertility crisis and funding. And see you in the next ICFP. Thank you so much, my
Thank you, my bestie.